Good morning and welcome to podcast number 2. Today I have my handy dandy list and we are going to be talking about sharing negative experiences and why you should share them if you are on a journey of really any kind and you're wanting to encourage other people who are maybe on the same journey, or maybe once you finish they'll find your video or your Instagram page and they will be encouraged by your journey. So a lot of the time when we see people's fitness journeys on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, they're always beautiful. It's a girl looking super cute, like in her before picture even, she's actually looks super cute and she really even wasn't that overweight to begin with. Or you see somebody and where they began was just horrible. She's like, I was so fat and now I'm so happy. It's just very sensational and fake. And what you don't see is all of the struggle that they had to go through to get to where they want to go. So I've made a shorter video about this, I think on my Instagram stories, maybe on TikTok too. And I was basically talking about how I had been talking to a friend and she was like, I am going through a lot right now. And it's a struggle and I don't want to be that negative person who's always like, my life sucks, it's so hard, and to be a negative person. The thing is that she's not a negative person. She's a very positive person. And I think that shows by the fact that she was like, I don't want to be negative. I don't want to share this hard stuff I'm going through, even though it's my whole life right now, or it was her whole day that day. But I was telling her, I'm glad that on her story, on Instagram, she was sharing, she was like, today's been a rough day. I tried my best and now I'm going to take the rest of this day for myself, because if I don't do that, my mental health is going to be really screwed up, right? And I was like, that's good that you shared that. You had a negative experience. You shared what it felt like, what you did to get out of it. And then the next day, guess what? She was back on it. She was back eating healthy, exercising, and just going for it towards her goals. And that's what we need. We need to see real people going through real experiences, feeling that pain and that difficulty and that struggle, but pushing through it anyway. Being a positive person isn't about sharing, my life is perfect, my journey was great, I had fun. That's not being a positive person necessarily. To me, being a truly authentic, positive person is sharing that you struggled, that it was painful, that it was really hard, and that you did it anyway. That is positivity that's really going to change the world, that's going to change you, that's going to help other people change. So I would really encourage you to, when you are in the struggle, document it. Take some time. Think, what was the hard part of my day? What made it hard? Why did I feel that way? Really get deep into the nitty-gritty. I know for me personally, a lot of the time, when I'm going through something hard, I don't want to think about it, I just want to get it over with. I think most people are that way. And that's not a morally wrong stance to have. It's just a human, normal stance of survival, right? But I would really encourage you, if you're the kind of person who's wanting to help other people, if this journey isn't just about you, if it's about other people as well, and I'm not saying that your journey has to be about other people, that's not everyone's journey. But if you're that kind of person that you're afraid to share negative vibes because you're afraid to hurt other people, I would encourage you to share the negative stories, not the vibes, right? I mean, what are vibes anyway? What you need to do is you need to share, I felt depressed this morning because I was feeling like I was gonna fail today because yesterday was really hard and I was having cravings. The moment that I woke up, I was craving chocolate chip cookies and I was just like, this is gonna be a hard day. I was feeling depressed. Or maybe you're like me and you have absolutely no reason to feel depressed and you still feel depressed. Maybe write that down and then someone else can come along and be like, hey, that's me. I have absolutely no reason to feel depressed and yet I feel depressed. And guess what? She still got up and did her workout. Her workout made her feel 10% better. And that'd be great if I could feel 10% better in a day as opposed to, 100% horrible. I can only feel 90% horrible. That's great. That's an improvement. Let's work towards that. So delving deep into your feelings and figuring out what makes you feel a certain way, is really, really healthy just for you as an individual, but it's also really helpful for other people if you have those things written down. Now, something else that I have experienced personally is that the best way to learn a subject is to teach. So I would apply this idea of teaching as a good way of learning as also going through your journey and getting the most out of your journey as you can. If you have the mindset of, I want to help other people, I want to have the ability to teach someone else or to help someone else through the same journey, then I think you're going to learn a lot more through that journey than you would have if you were just like, just survive, just get through it. Because I think it's the same thing as when I was teaching Taekwondo. I learned Taekwondo so much better than I ever would have just from personal interest, because I had to know when the 12-year-old kid asked me, are you sure you put your hip in that direction? Or I thought your, toes were supposed to be pointed this way. I would know, oh no, you're wrong, it's this way. Because if I didn't, I would look like a complete idiot and I was supposed to be the teacher, right? So I would encourage you to have that same kind of mindset when it comes to your journey or, whatever it is. And I'm talking a lot about fitness because that's what I deal with. When I talk to people, that's my job. I'm a fitness coach. That's what I do. For you, it might not be fitness. It might be something completely different. But just understand when I come from that purview, that's why. But if you are coming from the point of, I am struggling with depression today, I want to be able to tell, maybe it's your kid, maybe it's, just somebody that you meet on the street and you can tell that they're struggling with the same thing as you and you happen to strike up a conversation. You want to be able to help that kind of person, or maybe a friend that struggles with the same thing. I would really encourage you to think about that and think about your ability to teach it later. And that is going to really help you understand the subject. So again, I was talking about writing down. For me, that's what helps me understand myself, is when I write things down. For you, that might be talking to someone else. That might be talking to yourself. That might be going for a nice long walk or listening to music. It might be something completely different than me, but I would encourage you to try to find what that is and try several different things until you find what it is for you that helps. For some people, journaling really, really helps. I like to journal, but I never do it. Instead, it's just easier in the moment just to write it down, as opposed to having a commitment of I have to journal every day. For me, it's better if I'm just like, I am feeling, just on any scrap piece of paper, I am feeling this way, this is why I am feeling this way, this is what I'm gonna do about it, or something like that, just making kind of a list. And of course, it actually would be way better if I just had a journal instead of just writing on random pieces of paper and putting them in a notebook. But whatever. I would really encourage you to write it down or talk it out, or of course, always having a confidant is, I think, really the best way to go, because especially if you're dealing with depression or anxiety, your mind is already dealing with so much. I think it can be really hard to trust your mind to be like, oh yeah, that's what the problem is, because your mind is like, this ridiculous thing that's never going to happen is going to hurt you, because that's, to me, what anxiety is. It's like this thing that, okay, there's a 0.01 chance that could happen. To me, that's anxiety. And then I know all of these 0.01 chance things, and I'm thinking, my mind is like blaring this alarm. Those things will happen, when I know that they probably won't, right? And so it's helpful to me to be able to talk to someone else about those things and about these feelings. And it's also helpful for me to write them down. So I would encourage you, when you're going through this kind of stuff, think, could I explain this to someone else? And I think that will help you explain it to yourself. So if you never in your entire life have to explain what you felt to someone else, it won't really matter, because you will know that you thoroughly understand it. But that's just my 2 cents. The best way to learn a subject is to teach it. So it can be imaginary teaching, but I think that's a really good, just a good little quip, I guess, to have in the back of your mind. So those are my thoughts on sharing negative feelings and working through depression through imagining that you're teaching something about it. Of course, it could not just be depression. It could be anything. I hope you're enjoying this podcast. I hope that it is helping you in some way. I'm trying to figure out a good balance between having a structured something that I'm talking about and also making it more podcast style, and that it's conversational. I'm just kind of letting my mind run. Let me know if you would prefer something a bit more structured, because what I was doing is I have something like this where it's just several different things that I'm writing down and I go through those different points. So it's kind of structured, but it's also, I let my mind kind of go in spaghetti. So let me know which way you would prefer. If you prefer it more structured, I would love to do that. I feel like the videos would be much shorter, the podcast would be much shorter, but you know, that's not always worse. So let me know what you would prefer, and I hope everybody is having a great day. And I really like to hear your opinions on sharing negative experiences, because I know that this can be, I feel like there's people, you know, who wear the shirts like good vibes only, and I don't think that that's a wrong thing to do, but I think that it's important that we understand then how negatives can be a positive, you know? So I hope you all are having a great day, and I will see you in the next video or podcast.